Solitary confinement. Some brief history on solitary confinement includes the Quakers, a religious society from Pennsylvania believing in rehabilitation, given rise from the 18th century to the 20th century. To solitude. Prisons in the United States began to isolate inmates up to 23 hours a day. Confinement in the present day. Modern state legislatures have brought attention to solitary confinement regulations and limitations, including Title 15 for California Department of Corrections. In the United States, about 81,000 prisoners have been in solitary confinement. Various reasons inmates have been sent to solitary include talking back to staff, looking at correctional officers the wrong way, or even possessing too much toilet paper. Next, we are going to see a video which includes how solitary confinement is for inmates.
Welcome to your cell. You're going to be here for 23 hours a day.
You can be sent to solitary for
disobeying a direct order.
Order 6.10.
Fighting is 90 days extra. Yelling too loud.
Somebody is labeled a gang member.
any kind of drugs.
Looking at a correction officer. Just looking at him.
Having too many rolls of toilet paper is 90 days extra.
Too many postage stamps.
Eating all of your food.
And it's not uncommon to find somebody who's sentenced to a year and then ends up with 5, 6, 7 years in a bottle.
After a while, things start to slip.
I find myself floating.
As a psychologist, I can tell you that you are going to undergo many different kinds of reactions, and some of them will be more immediate than others.
You know, you see like the paint on the wall. It's that paint probably been there maybe 50 years before I got there. So you start seeing figurines.
You know, you think you hear them calling you from the officer station.
The toilet that drips because it sweats and it hits the floor. Choop, 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 choop. Stupid.
People turn on themselves.
They want to treat us like animals. We might as well act like animals.
There are high rates of suicide and self-harm.
People understand is violence. All they understand is a violent reaction. You can't have no diplomacy with this institution.
Some rules of solitary include being in confinement up to 23 hours a day, having only 1 hour of exercise alone, and restricting phone calls. Conditions of solitary confinement include being in a cell of 60 to 80 square feet and with minimal face-to-face contact. An excerpt from a story of a former inmate reads as the following. Mental health effects of being in solitary confinement includes post-traumatic stress disorder, hallucinations, anxiety, thoughts of suicide, and panic attacks. Another prisoner story includes the story of Khalif Brown, who committed suicide on June 15, 2015, for being accused of stealing a backpack, spending 2 years in solitary. After Browder's death, the prison known as Rikers Island Prison made reform efforts to reduce sentencing of solitary confinement. Physical effects of being in isolation includes trouble sleeping, having intrusive thoughts, and panic attacks. Another former inmate by the name of Kiana Calloway describes how he personally witnessed a man take his own life. in solitary. Physical effects of being in solitary confinement includes weight loss, dizziness, digestive problems, muscle and joint pain, and heart palpitations. Affecting the inmate's physical health over long periods of time can be detrimental. Understandably, solitary confinement is still used today throughout the United States, but should only be used for extreme violent situations such as fights or other situations that may be seen as needed. Thus, correctional officers and correctional staff should not abuse their power, and Title 15 from the Code of Regulations provides rules and limitations. Thank you.